SEO needs to carry its weight. You've got to be able to plan against that. And we're talking down to a revenue number. What is the revenue number you need to hit? Is that what's SEO's percentage of it? And then how do you get incrementality out of that? These are the conversations that, in my opinion, real SEO companies have with clients. We do a lot of work. We meet with a lot of people. Some are currently engaged with an SEO company. Some have been burned by an SEO company. Some are just coming into SEO, maybe not for the first time at the position level, but maybe the organization has never really invested in it because they've good old boys network, referral network, strong. Couple of things that I want you guys to think about as you're evaluating SEO companies, and that means including evaluating us. So any of the people we are currently talking to, I hope you take this to heart as well. Let's start with the red flags. You're going to hear people talk about, well, we have this way that's proven. Okay. Question that. Google changes it all the time. So how long has it been proven? You're going to hear a lot of people talk about guarantees. Obviously, I think we're all in agreement. Anyone guarantees that they can get you top placement in Google is lying. Flat out liars. The only way they can do that is through paid search, which you want to talk paid search. Yeah, I could probably guarantee you number one position. May cost you a bunch of money, but I can guarantee it. We know what Google is going to do before Google announces it. Like they have an inside track. Believe it or not, I've actually had people tell me that they've gotten this. I'm like, I've been doing this 25 years. I actually have friends that work at Google. You know what? I've never gotten any of that ever. I literally have asked buddies a couple of times and they're like, I can't tell you, right? And even if I did know, which I don't know, I can't tell you. You're going to hear a lot of people use jargon. If they're talking to you like a blog post, they're talking at you, start to ask questions as to why. And I think we all know the acronyms, not even the acronyms, but the sayings. Well, if we take a 30,000 foot view here, if we step back and look, your SERP rankings need to be higher for your click-through rate. Like they start to confuse you in jargon, and don't just simplify. That to me is a red flag. They don't necessarily know your knowledge level of SEO. So making sure that they understand where you're at and then meet you where you're at, whether you've been doing it for a long time, frankly, you don't know it at all, we get quite a bit. Hey, I really know SEO. So now when they don't know SEO, now even more importantly, trust comes into play because they don't know what they don't know, and they're coming to you to know more about what they didn't know. Those are some red flags. Case studies are a must. They must have case studies. Okay, now anyone can make up a case study. Okay, anyone can. It's been done for years. Make sure you look and ask questions on that case study. Where were they before? Why are they there now? What did you do in which to flip the script on the rankings of the traffic? If they only talk about rankings, that would be a concern. Okay, I think we all kind of know some of the pitfalls. Now let's talk about what a good SEO company should be talking to you. Okay. One, let's define an expert. An expert, in my opinion, is not someone who takes a complex idea and then confuses you to look smart. Okay. I believe an expert is someone that takes a complex idea, is able to simplify it down so that there is a common understanding of where we're going, and then more importantly, how that affects your business. Because that's really what you're in it for, is what is the effect I'm going to get? And breaking away from jargon. breaking away from something that someone already has always said. Yes, we know content is king. Yes, we know that you need to have a blog. We know all of that. Okay. How do you break through that and have a good conversation that is genuine and directional? So if they're saying things like, we'd like to focus on how you drive revenue. How do you make money? SEO fits into that, just like paid search fits into that, email fits into that. All of these programs fit into the business model that the organization or you have. They use words like, what is your media mix? Where do you get a bulk of your revenue? We have a client right now, I can tell you, when their SEO goes down, their paid search bill goes up. I had that conversation yesterday and you're kind of going, duh. Well, SEO needs to carry its weight. You've got to be able to plan against that. And we're talking down to a revenue number. What is the revenue number you need to hit? Is that what's SEO's percentage of it? And then how do you get incrementality out of that? These are the conversations that, in my opinion, real SEO companies have with clients or partners, however you want to look at it, because they're really invested in how the business is doing. We're just a conduit into making the business improve. So it really needs to be about your business. What do you do? How do you do it? What makes you the most money? Where do you want to push? And do more listening than they do talking. That is probably the final piece I would point. Ask a question, sit back and listen. If they're in there spouting off on here's how you do it, here's all the secrets, be careful of that. They need to be listening to where your challenges are, where you're either losing money or you need to make money, what products over another, what challenges you faced, where you're at. They should be asking things like, hey, can we get access to Google Search Console? Can we get access to Google Analytics? We'd like to see kind of like for ourselves where the holes are. Now you start involving experts into the mix. They're going to go look at data and go, you know what I found? I'll give you an example. Actually, I'll just give you an example. We have a client we do paid search for. And a bulk of the revenue comes in the middle of the day. You know what also comes in the middle of the day? Inflation of cost per click. We found that in the morning, we get a better cost per click ratio against our sales versus the middle of the day. So we also see that toward the tail end of the afternoon into the evening when people get home from work, they're sitting down, fumbling on their phone or whatever. So instead of going in and chasing the volume of revenue, we're looking at how do we make smarter decisions so that we're getting the revenue at the right cost. And looking at data, that is a difference between what I would call a business-centric search firm and someone who's like, well, you just need revenue? Fine, we're just going to go bang out revenue. That's okay, great, but that's not smart thinking. That's not smart money. Because at the end of the day, yes, we'll get you revenue, but how does that translate into profit? What is the return that you do need in which to drive that dollar? Is it a 3-to-1? Is it a 2-to-1? Is it an 8-to-1? You may have high overhead, so you need a higher return from your dollar to equate that to the right media mix that drives the overall organization. SEO doesn't just drive the organization's growth. SEO plus all the other channels are. So think about that as you start to interview SEO companies, search firms. I would make sure that an SEO firm either has a partner with a paid search firm or does it themselves internally. Look for a search firm, not an SEO firm and a paid search firm. The best deal is when they're together, because when you put those two together, literally, dude, they almost make a freaking fist. And then you're like, boom! That's really what you want to do in the overall scheme of things.